Yo, what's up everybody? It's your name back with another video. Today we're diving deep into the iPhone 16 Pro. This phone has been making waves, but not always for the right reasons. We're talking design changes, performance concerns, even some software quirks that have people scratching their heads. So we gotta ask, did Apple really mess this one up? Stick around to find out. First up, let's talk design. The iPhone 16 Pro definitely looks different this time around. We've got slimmer bezels, which is always nice, and the frame feels super solid. But here's the thing. Apple ditched the physical buttons. No more clicking, just touch-sensitive areas. Sounds cool, right? But in practice, it's been a mixed bag. Some people might not even notice the difference, but I've seen reports of the touch sensitivity being a little wonky, especially around the edges. It's clear Apple was going for a sleek, minimalist aesthetic, but I'm not convinced they nailed the execution. Okay, next up, let's talk about the display. Apple's always been known for having amazing screens, and on paper the iPhone 16 Pro doesn't disappoint. We're talking super sharp, vibrant colors, the whole 9 yards, but there's a catch. Remember all the hype about that 120 Hz refresh rate? Yeah, about that. Turns out, the phone actually caps the refresh rate at 80 Hz for most tasks. When you're paying top dollar for a flagship phone, it's kinda hard not to feel a little cheated. So yeah, the display is beautiful no doubt, but that refresh rate limitation? Definitely a head-scratcher. Now let's talk performance. Under the hood, the iPhone 16 Pro is packing Apple's A18 Bionic chip, which on paper is an absolute beast. And for the most part, it lives up to the hype. Apps open crazy fast, gaming is super smooth. But there's a pretty big but here, a lot of users have been reporting serious overheating issues like, the phone gets uncomfortably hot even with relatively basic use. We're talking scrolling through social media, browsing the web, that kind of stuff, and it's not just a minor annoyance either. Phones shutting down unexpectedly, charging getting interrupted because it's too hot. Powerful processors generate heat, but when it's impacting the user experience this much, you gotta wonder if something's not quite right. Let's move on to the camera, because that's always a big deal with iPhones. The iPhone 16 Pro does not disappoint, on paper at least. We're talking a 48 megapixel main sensor, improved image processing. But guess what? There's a catch. The camera app itself has been crashing. A lot. Like, you're framing up the perfect shot, about to capture a memory. And bam! The app just closes. For a phone that's supposed to be all about the camera, this is a pretty big misstep. Alright, let's talk battery life. Now this is something iPhone users have been wanting improved for a while now, and with the 16 Pro, well, it's complicated. Apple claims they've made some optimizations, and in some cases people are getting decent battery life, but then there's the other side of the story. We've seen a ton of reports of people experiencing crazy battery drain. Battery life on the iPhone 16 Pro, it's a mixed bag and honestly kind of a gamble right now. Speaking of iOS 18, let's talk software. The iPhone 16 Pro comes loaded with the latest and greatest from Apple, and it's got some cool new tricks up its sleeve. The redesigned control center is actually pretty slick, and there are some nice under-the-hood improvements, but, you guessed it, there's a but here too. Early adopters have been running into a bunch of bugs and glitches. It's not uncommon for new software to have a few kinks to work out, but it seems like iOS 18 might have launched with a few too many rough edges. And finally, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the price. The iPhone 16 Pro starts at a cool $999. Now for that price, you're getting a premium phone, at least on paper. But with all the issues we've talked about, the question is it worth it? That's a tough one. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to buy the iPhone 16 Pro comes down to your individual needs and priorities. So, there you have it, the iPhone 16 Pro. It's a phone that's full of potential, but also riddled with some pretty significant issues. The big question is, did Apple drop the ball on this one? I'm gonna leave that for you to decide. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Are you thinking about picking up the iPhone 16 Pro, or are you gonna wait and see how things shake out? As always, thanks for watching, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of the awesome content we've got coming your way. Peace.